From AdAge. David, I had a question for you just to elaborate a little bit more about the art and entertainment category and why you didn't award a titanium or a Grand Prix for it. In terms of the category itself, there wasn't a Grand Prix awarded last year either, so is it something about the category that makes it difficult to award it or define what you guys are looking for, or is it that just nothing really stood out this time? I was just hoping to get a little more detail.
Not sure what happened last year, but this year we had, again, as I said, we have many fantastic goals. But I think the goals are the best of what's this year. And I think when you give a Grand Prix, that's like classic history forever. And I don't think it quite, and the jury and I didn't feel it quite, any of those quite hit that peak. Again, I said, I think there was a piece that could have, if it had been entered, but we just didn't, as much as we love those goals, they didn't, none of them had that classic, 30 years from now, still talking about equality. And I do think it's partly because it is a growing category, learning to do entertainment and meshing the kind of things we do, traditional with new, with technology, with new kinds of media. There's still room to learn and grow.
Hi, Matthias from Project.com. This is a question for Mark. Could you please talk a little bit about ear tooth implant and safety truck, the ideas from Argentina, please?
I absolutely adore that beer tooth idea. Without getting overly dramatic, there's something a bit punk rock about giving the titanium award to something as dumb as a guy who's willing to replace his tooth with a brand's logo and have that in his mouth for the rest of his life, just to open a beer. So Argentina has one very large fan in that campaign, and me. Safety truck, it's interesting to compare those two, because I don't think you could find two more different entries. I think we were all really inspired about the functionality of safety truck, the kind of smart lateral thinking that would go into responding to a brief from a big global organization like Samsung that way. Yeah, they were absolutely jury favorites.
A question about the emoji campaign. Compared to the others, it seems quite simple and nothing really special. So why did you decide to give a Grand Prix to this campaign? Can you please explain a bit?
It certainly was a long, drawn-out discussion, and you're absolutely right. It's very simple. I think we as a jury would probably disagree with your second description that there's not much very special about it. We felt really, really good about awarding an idea that has the potential to really impact a big advertiser's business model. And maybe that sounds a bit dramatic, but one way of thinking about that piece is if you look at something like Amazon's one-click service, which is widely developed and widely used. It's a nice shortcut into the buying process. Doesn't have a lot of emotion or thought or humanity behind it. I think what I personally see in the emoji idea is the touch of an agency and the touch of a creative person on a real, legitimate business moving idea. So increasingly that's where the opportunities for ad agency creatives are, is to affect business with the touch of a craftsman, the touch of an artist, the touch of a human being with comedy or with human insight. So it's simple, yes, but I think it's pretty special.
Jesús Díaz, programa publicidad.com from Spain. My question is about branding content and about hologram for freedom with 18 lions. I would like, what do you tell us about this campaign? If was near of the one Grand Prix.
I'm sorry, which campaign? Say again?
Holograms for Freedom.
Oh, well, so I don't know if people are familiar with the idea. What happened was in Spain, government passed an edict saying no protesting, no demonstrations allowed in front of government buildings, in front of certain neighborhoods, areas. And so they used a brilliant, piece of technology where they created themselves in holograms, and the holograms protested in front of the buildings. It's extraordinary, extraordinary, and moving. So what a great way to use technology to not break a law, but do what you wanted to do, and things happen from that. We admired it very much.
Was there any debate, and if there were any other contenders for Grand Prix, like what were they and why ultimately didn't you go with those?
I'll take that, the first one. The Leica spot was almost unanimous in the very first vote we did. 19 out of 22 votes. So that was sort of a no-brainer. The other one was highly competitive. I mean, narrowed down to 3 amazing pieces. 2 have been talked about already. Honda R and Like a Girl. And at the end of the day, we felt that the Geico piece was such an innovative way of using film in such a again, such an unsexy pre-roll, you know, and it's such an important piece of branding now. That's where, you know, these brands have lived in this pre-roll, but they've lived there so boringly, and we've accepted that space as just sucking for so long. And so we saw this, and we must have watched it 20 times, and we laughed every single time, and the brand comes through so strongly. So yeah, that ended up winning in the end.
Not all, but part of the Gold Lions possible at Grand Prix, but was a unanimous decision, absolutely unanimous. I think just the last vote with my judge, and he did really look for what touched their heart, and I think was a great decision. I believe you enjoy that, the scene too. I think it's when you look the result of film and the film craft result, I think together looks a fantastic 3 Grand Prix.